Jess Sinclair trained during the week. Unfortunately, has got some hamstring and back-related soreness and tightness. So as a precautionary this afternoon, the Kangaroos have decided to give him a week's rest, which is all bodes well for the finals next week. In a game where there isn't too much at stake for the Kangaroos apart from the 4 points, because they're assured of the finals berth. But importantly, Jess Sinclair, not a hamstring tear as has been reported, hamstring soreness, and will be back definitely next week.
He's definitely a big loss, Swatter. Look, sitting up here in the box, usually I'm not too envious of you being down on the boundary. It looks like a beautiful day. What are the conditions like?
Well, conditions, as you said, Wayne, they're absolutely fantastic. I was just talking to a couple of supporters, and I don't know what it is. When you get towards the end of round 22, there's a different smell in the air. The pies smell a lot nicer. The weather's warmer. The sun is certainly shining. It shapes for a terrific afternoon of football. And let's just hope that both sides, given the fact that Carlton don't have a great deal to play for, turn on some sort of game.
Thanks for that, Wayne. Adam Simpson, Kangaroo skipper, on screen. Got to drive to the game today, which is a little better than his trip to the match last week. Had to catch the train to Sydney to play the game.
What happened?
Punctured lung he's been playing with the last few weeks, and you can't fly with that, so he caught the train to Sydney.
Used to be a legendary Carlton and Kangaroos player called Brent Croswell, who was a star of many finals, who always used to catch the train.
Surely if you had a punctured lung, you wouldn't be playing football.
He's tough, Wayne. You might have just been kicking up the heels and putting the slippers on and watching on telly, but
Tiger Croswell, he was just scared of flying, so he used to catch the train. Wouldn't have been much good going to Perth and back.
Fox Footy Sunday. Kangaroos to the right, Blues to the left. We're underway with Hale and French, the ruckman, in the middle. And Stevens with a hurried kick to the outer side. Walker
On Harvey.
Pressure by Brent Harvey. Going to be a good matchup. Brent Harvey in the Brownlow frame for many people. After a terrific year, hasn't missed a game, averaging 22 possessions, and there's Walker right alongside.
And Glenn Archer starting in the middle of the ground, which has worked to some success for the Kangaroos this year.
32 years young is Glenn Archer. He's playing in the midfield now, late in his career, as Stevens, the little handball for Simpson, caught high by Stevens. Umpires wide for sound on Sunday football. Chris Camelins, Martin Ellis and Craig Hendry in charge as Harvey scoots through the midfield over the head of Petrie, who's being matched up by Whitnell early. Camporelli's brought down. Harvey, Grant, was he caught high by Cooter? No play on. Cooter feed his quick hands to Bentic, to Camporelli, and almost juggling the mark attempt, White against Waite. Ball squirts out the side of the pack. Kangaroos should mop up. Archer. Well, maybe intended for Makepeace. Koutafidis gets there. A couple of touches early for the Carlton skipper. Scotland to Stevens. Long to Waite. Good spoil by Pratt. And he's going to keep it in here, and it's a good option as he uses Hale.
Already Glenn Archer, who started on the ball, he's playing that loose man in defence, so starts in the middle but drifts behind the ball.
And an interesting matchup. Brady Rawlings is one of the gun taggers in the competition, but he is actually being tagged by Ryan Houlihan.
Some respect there for Brady Rawlings, who has won it 17 times a game for the year. Harvey dumped by Walker illegally.
Doesn't look like there's too many tags going on, Jared. I think that both sides have just come out and are going to play football.
You got some inside knowledge.
Just by the look, you can see the players. There's not too many players running around with hand across. It just looks like they're going to play footy today. Dennis Pagan hasn't gone with too many tags, nor the Kangaroos.
Harvey is really incapacitated here, and he's going to have to come off the ground.
He did not know what was going on, Brent Harvey.
He is coming off. Well done, Andrew Walker, in terms of the pressure there and not letting Harvey off the hook. But Harvey is in a very groggy state right now. Another look at it. He was dumped afterwards, and this, I fancy, has landed on his head. And that's just some concussion, and let's hope it's some mild concussion, and that's all. Houlihan hurries a kick forward. Awkward bouncing ball for Camporelli. Oh, Harris diving in on it. That's what they're going to need to see. They're going to need some spark in the lead up to the finals. Wells loses his strides. Did well to get the footy onto Pratt, who heads for the boundary line. I tell you what, I like the way Carlton started this match. Let's go down to Wayne Schwass.
Yeah, Clinton, just a little bit more on Brent Harvey there. As you notice here on the side of the ground along the interchange benches is the AstroTurf. It's the artificial turf. And unfortunately, that's a concern. Player welfare, it's got to be first and foremost.
What's the concern in that regard with Harvey's case?
Well, the AstroTurf there being so close to the boundary line, Brent Harvey's actually been tackled and his head's hit that harder surface. It's not the grassed area, it's the AstroTurfed area.
Yeah, it looks like he's slowly getting better there.
You're right, though, Clinton. This game, Carlton putting extreme pressure on the Kangaroos.
They've claimed the wooden spoon just once in club history. They will get it for a second time if they lose today, and that's what is important for the 22 out there. Forget the talk about the draft picks for the players, as Camporelli's handball stolen by Harris to Shannon Grant. The Roos break away. Thompson leads. Grant rewards him. Kick goes over his head, though. Carlton mop up. Houlihan to Whitnell. Good ball to midfield for Davies. Over the head of the leading weight, Archer, Colbert, Makepeace.
It's a good matchup for the Kangaroos. Shannon Watt on weight because he has the pace to go with him.
Thornton to Scotland on the wing, getting plenty of the footy, the Blues. Now Davies. And Pratt wearing tightly Fisher. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, usually Shannon Watt plays at full back, but he's come out to centre half back today to play on the elusive weight, and it's a good matchup for the Kangaroos, I think.
Hale and French. Coup to the Whittle soccer was effective. Now the Blues can go. Scotland to Camporelli, back to Scotland. Davies, back to Scotland. Stevens finding an opening, goes for it, gets it. The Kangaroos have been one of the slowest starting teams in the AFL for the last 6 weeks, and they spot the Blues an early goal here.
Just a run through the middle of the ground. Scott Camporelli, who's tagging Shannon Grant, has just got free. And just a chain of handballs. Probably too much handball for Dennis Pagan's liking if he had the ideal world. But the group through the middle there, they worked the ball well. Not enough pressure from the Kangaroos, which allowed them to get the goal in the end.
And Scotty Camporelli's form has been sensational off that half-back flank, although Shannon Grant's come up onto the wing now to start there.
Scotland with 5 hand passes already. Bentic with a high kick to centre half forward. Archer. Now Stevens pursuing it. Simpson closing fast. Good pressure. Fisher. Koutafidis. Oh, clever kick for Bentic, who I reckon is just a couple of metres too far out. He goes quickly to the hot spot. Good option. Chance Morrell. Brown the spoil. Davies. Elusive. Runs to the goal. Another one. Oh, what a start this is.
Now we've got something to play for, Clinton. Kangaroo supporters thinking that perhaps they'd come and just see the Blues lay down because they don't want to get a draft pick. That system's got to change because we don't even need the discussion about draft picks. But they've come through one and they're on the board very early and they're looking very dangerous.
No question about that. And what I liked about that bit of play was Bentic got the ball, didn't sit there with it for a couple of seconds, got back, got it in quickly. With DeLuca standing at full forward, they've got a real target up there. It's going to come to the front. The Blues off to a flyer.
And you talk about the draft picks, Jared. If Carlton win today, their picks in the draft will be 5 and 21.
Yep.
If they lose today, their picks will be 1, 4 and 22.
It seems ridiculous that we've got such a system, but that's the one we've got in place for this year. No doubt it'll change at the end of the year.
Here's Simpson paddling it near the boundary line. Makepeace harasses him over for a throw-in. Kangaroos a win today. They'll finish as high as 5th, and most likely, pending other results, take on Port Adelaide in an elimination final in Melbourne next week. Mark Williams, Port coach, sensing that, has flown across to Melbourne today and is here at the Dome watching. French knocking it down. Harding going without it. Likewise, Harris. I like the intensity of the Blues. They've really come to play here.
And what's happened is the Kangaroos, you heard Dennis Pagan say that he'll have to watch Kangaroo players flooding back. That's exactly what's happening, but they're going one-on-one all over the park. He's not allowing them to just stand in space by themselves.
Accountability. Wells unable to get away today. Simpson caught by his opposing skipper.
She's hot in there, Clinton.
Bentic for Walker. Terrific start. Houlihan to the forward pocket. Lappin, big leap. And he loves going for a fly, Matty Lappin, and he nearly pulled down a specky.
Now, what that does, when we'll have another look at the mark, or the attempted mark.
Now, this is just a great tackle here, and I thought good umpiring just to let him go, didn't ping him. He had to have a chance, and there's the grab.
Boundary throw in deep in attack. Hale knocking it down. Carlton players dangerous. Harris backs himself. Well done. Clears the danger zone. Will he find the boundary line? Waite closing and stops it well. Kick up towards the 50. Make peace for Grant. Kangaroos a little startled here by the intensity with which Carlton have hit them. Houlihan for Scotland, and they're queuing up for the Blues. Walker.
And as I was saying before, Clinton, what that does, although there are a lot of numbers in Carlton's forward line, they're man-on-man all over the ground. It's not allowing the Kangaroos to have those loose plays and run the ball out of defence at their own leisure. And the pressure that Carlton are putting on in that area has been sensational so far, Jared.
Well, I think you just saw the turnover there. There's just a couple of fumbles, a couple of blokes a little bit concerned that the pressure was coming, and the turnover gives us Walker a chance.
And his kick is pretty good. Three goals in the opening 10 minutes, and it's headaches early for Dean Laidley.
Well, that's the ideal start for Carlton, as we've said, and really it's the fact that they're just putting on the pressure all over the ground. They're not allowing the Kangaroos to sag off in defence and run through the midfield uncontested, and that's where the game is being won and lost at this stage.
Mark Williams will be impressed with this start.
He's probably catching a cab to the G now, thinking, hang on, we might be playing Melbourne or someone else next week.
And they were pretty impressive last night, Port Adelaide. You just wouldn't discount them.
Hale with the hit out. Harris, but they're just being hit. Carlton, you can tell it's their last game of the year. They are leaving nothing to chance. Camporelli going to Lappin over his head. Good support from Scotland, who closed fast, affects a boundary throw-in.
Matty Lappin's one I'm pretty sure hasn't re-signed with the club. He's still in some sort of limbo, and maybe this is his last game for the Carlton Footy Club, but things can change rapidly.
214th game overall, 55 of those at St Kilda, as Barnaby French gives away a free kick. A 3-goal lead for Carlton, with Heath Scotland running hot.
And Heath Scotland's opponent is Glenn Archer,
who's had it 3 times. Petrie going wide, 4 for Rito. One of 8 Kangaroo players to play now in all 22 matches. 16 of their players have played between 20 and 22 games. That is a remarkably durable team this year that have done well injury-wise.
But Jones being matched up in an empty goal mouth, or forward 50, by David T. It just looks as if it's a goal for the Kangaroos if they can get it in there, but they haven't been able to.
Grant going to that matchup. And Jones juggles the mark just inside the field of play.
It looks a good setup. He's going to be able to expose David Teague for pace, but not much point getting the marks if you're out on the top 50.
Fined for abusing an umpire last week in Sydney, Corey Jones. Well, that's a surprising option to take, shall we say. Scotland to Whitnell. He hurries the kick away, and it lands in the arms of Lee Colbert.
I think the kick was going to Hale, but he just didn't move.
Had no pace.
No, didn't. Good work.
And we spoke about the Kangaroos getting numbers back. Well, now it's the Blues getting numbers back, but not in the right spots on that occasion.
Much better play that time by the Kangaroos, when it was more of their style of play, isolating a Thompson coming up the middle of the ground.
And good to see Brent Harvey back after that knock earlier, so just a mild concussion as we watch Nathan Thompson, who Dean Laidley said a few weeks back, without doubt the best trade of the season. Some Adelaide people are saying, well, maybe our Thompson's in the frame there as well. If he kicks 3 today, it's a 50-goal season. He hasn't missed a game. You say it's a pretty good year.
I think Hawthorn would be wondering why they let him go, without a doubt.
He kicks his first today. Kangaroos finally on the board.
I think you make a good point, Jared. When the Kangaroos go forward, the fact that they get numbers behind the ball, when they look up, usually their forward line's wide open, as it was when Corey Jones took the mark. the fact that he took it out wide on the 50-metre arc, it allowed players for Carlton to get back in their defence, but still found enough space for Nathan Thompson up the middle.
Yeah, he had to come back into the corridor and then basically restart the whole process, but they've got it themselves away, and they're going to need to get a couple of others also, because the Blues, they've got a sniff. They want to finish the season on a high note. I know they'd be challenged about priority picks, but the players were bashed last week. They need to finish on a positive.
Yes, 99 points, the losing margin last week as the Roos get the clearance. Simpson to Rawlings to Jones. Thompson roving, tackled. Teague tied up by Jones. Grant dangerous in these situations. Good tackling, Houlihan. Harding, he's quick. Bentic, good tackle. Harvey takes it out.
Who would be an option for Corey Jones? Wayne, given that Teague just looks as if he's not going to be able to run with him.
He does. One of the strengths of David Teague is he plays off his man a little to help out other defenders down there. I think you'd let that one go for a little bit, Jared, and just see how it pans out, but certainly looks dangerous, Jones.
Archer rides the bump from Fisher. Fisher to Scotland, to Walker. Over the head of Eddie Betts. Makepeace to Colbert. Oh, good steal by Lappin. Now hoping for the boundary line there, but Shannon Watt is in the way, albeit with an awkward bouncing ball. Head support, Colbert, Harvey, now Pratt, and they'll effect the switch to Wells. Wells towards half forward.
That's just a great battle there, and well done to Camporelli. Just took the front spot. Dennis will be pleased with the way he's come to terms with this half-back flank.
Fumbling the mark attempt, DeLuca. And still fumbling. Harris strips it away. Stevens, Simpson, Grant now. Going long. Can Jones double back and get a goal? I reckon he might. He misses.
Well, ideally he would have moved around onto his right foot and he would have had another couple of seconds there, Corey Jones, but he wanted to go for the left.
He's a left footer.
Yeah, he wanted the left foot and he ended up cutting his time and therefore blowing an opportunity.
Camporelli happy to take his time. Now Whitnell leading wide to the boundary, goes in the direction of he and Teague, and Whitnell wins.
Boys have been solid at centre-half back this year, Lance Whitnell. Some are saying out of him and Koutafidis and probably Scotty Camporelli for the best and fairest.
Campo running through midfield here, going long up to the 50. Makepeace, good juggle.
Good grab.
Eddie Betts has got his work cut out today. Troy Makepeace, an experienced back pocket player, and boy, is he underrated. So Eddie will have to be on his game if he's to kick a few goals on Troy Makepeace.
And he can hurt you going the other way. He gets a bit of the ball, 15 possessions a game. Usually uses them better than that last effort, but regardless, the Kangaroos end up with an inside 50. Thornton for Houlihan. Back for Thornton. And now Scotland can use Camporelli, who's just a running machine right now. 8 possessions already. Cade Simpson with his first kick.
And that's a pretty ordinary kick for Cade. He set a pretty high standard for himself. That one has just drifted into space.
Just mucked up a couple of disposal mistakes, Carlton, coming through the midfield. Could have had a couple of scoring opportunities in the last minute or so. DeLuca dropping a chest mark, and then that one going over the head of Koutafidis, who had a couple of metres on his opponent.
The Kangaroo supporters, though, I guess the positive is that they've stabilised to some degree. They're not playing fluently, and I think they're still struggling with the ferocity of the Blues at the moment, but they have stabilised on the scoreboard at least. That's a throw.
Whitnell, good pick-up, Grant. Great stuff. He receives his own handball, gives it to Stevens, and he misses the shot at goal to the right-hand side. Is that a goal assist if you handball to yourself and then kick a goal?
Well, Michael Stevens definitely giving the Kangaroos some run. It was him in the defensive 50 that took that ball when it went over Koutafidis' head and then run down the ground and having a shot at goal. So giving them a lot of run off half-back.
Simpson in the back pocket.
Adrian DeLucas off the ground. They put McGrath on. They just look like they're just throwing every runner they've got at the the Kangaroos.
Walker long to midfield. Some carry on the kick. The roof open, obviously, and it's a breezy day in Melbourne. Colbert's handle knocked away. Cooter can go all the way from 50. The skipper! Capping a marvellous year. And the opportunist there as the ball bounced the Blues' way, and there's 16 points in front.
And that was brought about by David Teague following the ball down the ground. Applies a very good tackle here on Lee Colbert. The ball spills free, and the waiting Koutafidis puts it through.
Just have a look at the left hand. Just got the left hand in. Colbert was trying to lay it off, but smart play there by David Teague.
He is #1 for tackles at Carlton this year, Teague, with 63 from Cooter on 60. So he knows about putting the pressure on as Stevens gets the clearance for them again, but Pratt is in the way this time.
He was the loose man, just lurking across that half-back line.
Lurking in the shadows. Harvey going wide. Grant.
Brady Rawlings is now matched up on Nick Stevens.
Shannon Grant with 4 goals in Sydney last week, 4 of the 9 as they lost by 37 points. It was 7 goals to 1 at quarter time, and they never recovered. Thompson deep to centre half forward, but French read that well. Already had 8 hit-outs, Barnaby French, and now his first kick. Gets a late bump. Umpire was right there, though, and said OK. Now that Carlton free kick will be advantage play on. Carazzo, Camporelli, back to Carazzo. They've got the overlap working. They might get another one. It's Scotland. Oh, and he goes without the goodies. Rawlings to Rocker. Flings it out for Archer. Just looking a little slow here, the Kangaroos. That's better. Rawlings to Simpson to make peace. Now Colbert. Bangs it forward in the Thompson direction. Lappin. Stevens. Lappin under pressure now from Jones. And a timely slip.
You've got to come back behind your mark and take the kick.
Doing a lot of running, the Blues.
Aren't they?
It's whether they can...
Just on this one, Wayne, he had no chance of impacting or getting the ball back by the bump. Players often, they go the bump rather than the smother. Now, he could have stopped that ball in mid-tracks.
Yeah, look, some players can't smother, Jared. I think, and they don't even, it doesn't even come into their thinking. Yeah. But definitely probably had time to dive across that ball and put a smother on.
Stevens off the side of the boot and kick will land with Rocker.
Geez, they're looking flat, the Kangaroos.
Yeah.
They're going to need a couple of blokes to spark them a bit. Here's one, the captain. Just overusing it, fumbling a bit.
Already had 6 more possessions than Carlton. Yet on the scoreboard, 4 goals to 1. Thompson appealing for a free, doesn't get it, and Stevens is there to mop up brilliantly.
They're in a different gear, the Blues.
Yeah.
They're in overdrive, and the Kangaroos have got the clutch in.
Pratt could spoil on Fisher. Brown.
Here's a chance.
Pachoni slip, will run onto it. Then to your barber, Jared. Kicks backwards, effectively finds Brown.
That's it, Eddie. That's it.
Now the flood on all 36 players in Kangaroos attacking half, except for Colbert, who's on the end of this kick.
Over there, Anthony.
Therefore, precious room for the forwards to lead to. So Colbert just squares it up for Makepeace. Now a lead. Yep, Rawlings. Oh, that could be costly. It's not. Back to Rawlings. Over the head of Grant. Teague, well done. Camporelli to Carazzo.
Got to get some players forward now, the Blues. Get the ball across the boundary line to get them some blokes in there.
Out of bounds will be a good result.
Lappin to Fisher.
Oh, we got the man on.
Wobbly old kick. It might end up out of bounds. Colbert. Makepeace. Now Brown. Pachoni. Well, where are they going? It's out for a boundary throw-in.
They have, the Kangaroos, made more unforced errors in this first 25 minutes of the quarter than they have in a month. But down on the boundary line, Scotty Camperelli off Swatter, and he's had a great start to the match.
He's had a terrific start, Gerard. I think Clinton brought up a very important point before. Carlton have nothing else to play for. This is their last game for the next 6 months. So invariably when you're in that position, you don't leave anything to chance. You give it absolutely everything because there's no next week.
Kuda wins a free kick here. This will be his 9th touch. Started the year with 32 here against the Kangaroos in round 1. A sign of a terrific year from the skipper. Inside 50 for Carlton. Lappin's going to run onto it here and will have a fraction to steady. But he overruns it. But Watt's handball was a little sloppy to Stevens. Makepeace to clean up. Pratt bangs it away. Carlton are going to get there though. The bounce will be important. It's okay for Whitnall. Carazzo now can bomb it deep. In the goal square. Almost a chance, not quite. Fisher in a pack. Watt, good pass to Stevens.
Well, they're just putting on enormous pressure, Carlton, all over the ground, and players are leaving their direct opponents to put pressure on the player with the ball, and it's terrific football by Carlton at the moment. They're flooding back, they're running forward. It's whether they can sustain it for the whole day, because it takes a lot out of you playing the type of footy they're playing at the moment.
I reckon the president would be pretty happy watching on TV. Colo, best wishes. Don't go up any more ladders. The Carlton president breaking a leg yesterday in hospital right now. We wish him all the best.
He must love that hospital. He's been there half the year.
He's got membership. McGrath kicking to the forward pocket. DeLuca. He's upended and wins a free kick.
You've got him around the neck as well, mate. You've got to play that as a high tackle. I understand.
So Craig Hendry hearing Pratt's pleas, but it's a free kick.
The Kangaroos just allowing Lance Whitnall now to play that loose player for Carlton, and as we know, Big Lance, when he gets the ball, voted many years ago of having the best football brain in the league. So he does use the ball very well.
Last 3 games in the VFL for Adrian DeLuca. And he kicks this one out of bounds and then wants to go on with it with Pratt. And still they go. We'll keep an eye on all the behind-the-scenes things for our digital subscribers. You can be in the director's chair on Fox Footy Active, exclusively to Fox Footy.
Great play, White. Went to ground. Control the ball with one hand, set up the shot at goal.
McGrath from 50.
DeLuca
Has got it? No. Just spills out and a behind is conceded.
Well, I think you've got to do some work with Big DeLuca, Wayne, because there just wasn't enough intensity. There's a fair chance for him just to control that contest, and he basically almost waited for someone else to take it.
Yeah, he is. Look, he's had a few injuries this year. It is one of his weaknesses, marking the ball above his head. So that's something that I'm sure that Dennis Pagan and the Carlton hierarchy will work on next year.
Rawlings going long towards the pocket. Jones is there. The man in front, he gets the mark.
Well, you see there Brett Thornton at the back. He did the right thing. He left Thompson to come across, but then, well, he just made that judgment. I'll go for the grab when he should have gone for the punch. It was in his hands first, you can see.
Yeah.
And then it dribbled down. So he's a bit stiff, Brett Thornton, but the punch was the percentage option.
And Corey Jones, one of his greatest strengths is the fact that he is very strong above his head. He has the long arms.
Yep.
Brett Thornton will, I'm sure he'll get a little message from Dennis Pagan saying that if you're behind, you punch the footy.
Runner's going
as
out
the
now.
runner heads out towards that area right now.
So Jones for his first, and it's goal number 35 for the year for Corey Jones.
There's the runner.
There's the runner. Often wonder when the runner comes out, when you know you've made an obvious mistake.
Yep.
You sort of think to yourself, well, surely you could wait. Let the runner have a bit of a rest. You know you've made a mistake, but
Got to keep the runner warm. They're paid by the run.
And Jared, you asked Wayne, was he, what's he going to be working with DeLuca next year? As a free kick to Carlton with Rawlings encroaching on the centre circle. Wayne might be working with Tarrant or an Anthony Rocker next year, Jared. We'll ask him about that at half-time. Lappin.
Dancing.
Dumped. Pressure's on. Brown. And now Watt will be able to clear to Rawlings, who encroached on that centre circle to give the Blues the clearance. Oh. Colbert back for Rawlings. Kick to Grant.
That's a hold. Good rag. He's a good player, this bloke.
He's had a very good year,
hasn't he?
Runner-up in the best and fairest last year as a former winner at Arden Street, and Hale with the good spoil there as Grant will be rested. Harding back on.
I think Shannon Grant alone has won probably 4 games for the Kangaroos this year. They haven't got off to great starts, as we know. Very similar to today, but in those last quarters, he's kicked some ice-cool goals.
Final minute opening term on Fox Footy Sunday. Carlton have impressed, and they continue with Koutafidis linking up with Stevens, and now Davies going to McGrath. Good hands, down to 30 seconds. Or is he going to take on the man on the mark? He gives it to Stevens, who started the Blues party. Wasteful handball. That's all it was, wasteful. And now the Kangaroos on the counter-attack can get a late one as Harvey weaves through heavy traffic. He's following up here as Harvey. He offloads Thornton.
Well done, Thornton.
And Thornton traps it in. He's gone. No! Deemed to be under Harvey there, and that'll do us for the opening term. And entertaining first quarter of football. Carlton by 11 points.
Definitely, Clinton. I think that the pressure that Carlton applied to the Kangaroos has been incredible. They've got down back. It was one-on-one footy all over the ground. And for anyone out there that thought they were coming to the game today and watch the Kangaroos have an easy win over Carlton, think again, Jared.
Absolutely. And the Kangaroos, they were poor last week. They've got to find some form, some winning form going into the finals next week. They just weren't there mentally at the start of this match. Well, they weren't there mentally as well as Carlton have been, because they are well on top in this contest.
Another slow start for the Kangaroos. 11 points, Carlton's lead at quarter time. The final day of the 2005 home and away season. And Carlton trying to get off the bottom of the ladder have started well. How long can they keep up that rabid intensity with which they played in the first quarter? Harvey soccering it forward. Tied up is Petrie.
Good job, Petrie.
Harvey. Centering ball, it's a beauty. And Lee Brown heading forward can kick a goal.
That is just fantastic running, Wayne.
It was. He's run from half back into the forward line, and often when that happens, other players are leading towards the ball. It's left a space behind, but Brent Harvey having the awareness to kick it back to that position and not go for goal was excellent.
It all started with Drew Petrie just getting his hand free as well. He was wrapped up by Big Red, but he just laid the handball off.
Just 2 goals for the year, Lee Brown. Hasn't missed a game. Doesn't miss there. Good start for the second quarter for the Kangaroos as we head back down to Greggy.
Thanks very much, Clinton. Just to add, I think that it's something that needs to be looked at, because if we remember, Geelong had a different incident with Steve Johnson suffering some burns to his legs, which subsequently led him to miss the following week. So, look, I understand the AFL are trying to look after the turf around at Telstra Dome, but the fact that this is there, it's in the playing arena, it does cause a situation like we saw with Brent Harvey.
Something for Colo to ponder while he's got the leg in traction in the hospital.
We're just going to miss out on our halftime ice creams now.
Thanks, Water. Lee Brown, though, he's a player that started the year exceptionally well. Big rap for Lee Brown. I think he's just added a hell of a lot to the Kangaroos in defence. Can go forward. Been a good pick-up from the Dockers.
Hale, Harvey, Grant. Good trio there. Now, bounce okay for Teague. The handball made lap and wait. Sold him into a semblance of pressure. Teague does well. Oh, and that's a perfect kick. Simpson can go. Who's he going to choose, though, in the forward line? The usual dreadlocked one is not there today. It's Stevens coming out, winning a free. Rawlings pushed him.
Smart play by Nick Stevens. He called it long.
Yep.
He called it long and then just ducked back. And
this has got umpiring as well. He just said to Brady Rawlings, you've got to go the footy. Pushing in the back is just not on this year.
No, they've been paying those all year.
Stevens for his second from 50.
Thanks, Craig. Did the post.
Missed it by that much.
Chief.
I heard you on Sports Today last week on 3AW Go with that skit.
Kangaroos huddle at centre half forward and then all break.
Makepeace to a 2-on-2. Wells. Great balance. Punches the handball out to Harvey. Runs on. Gets it back. And then has all the time in the world, it seems, to take off. Look at him go. This is fantastic stuff from Wells. Well, he read himself into a pocket there. Gives it off to Grant.
Go to the footy.
Petrie waited. He hesitated, but it might not be lost because Farito's going to have a shot at goal. And the Kangaroos have squared this one up.
Well, they've got off to the start that they wanted to in this second quarter, and it's brought about by getting the ball into the forward line a little bit quicker. We saw Drew Petrie stand there and wait for the ball.
Yeah.
Often hard when you are stationary before the ball's kicked, but the rule is that you should meet that. But Farito, hasn't he been a great pickup?
Good player
for the Kangaroos, and we saw him do the job on Aaron Hamill.
Yep.
Only a couple of weeks ago. Very versatile, can play, as we have only just found out, he can play a key defensive post as well as through that midfield.
And where the Blues did so well in the first quarter was the forward line pressure. Right now, that's not there, and they're allowing the Kangaroos to run it out easily.
Farito, a product of the successful rookie draft system. As the Kangaroos now, they've steadied in this match, and they're looking to take control. Archer to Wells.
This bloke's been good, Daniel Wells, getting him back in.
Oh, look at that. He's got his mojo back, Jared.
He has.
He delivers inside 50.
Whatever that is.
Losing out Thompson can't mark. Lappin now as Carlton look to go the other way. Feeding the hand pass off. Camporelli. Good kick, well-weighted ball for Walker. Still just 19, but he's got some games in him now. 33rd senior game. Part of the future at Optus Oval. The kick lets him down. He'll get it back and have another go. Scotland with the hand pass to him. Going to be caught here. He's gone. Oh, hello. Was there anything there or not? Got to be careful, Brent Harvey. Maybe he thinks he owes Andrew one from what happened earlier in the match. Colbert. Remember, boys, finals next week. Hale.
Oh, well played, Eddie.
Eddie Betts closed fast on Pratt. Got the smother. Whitnell's kick has been acrobatically marked by Colbert.
It's been a couple of players, individuals lift for the Kangaroos. It's really starting to show. Colbert's one, Wells and Harvey the other two.
Harvey here on cue. Delivering for Shannon Grant.
Wells is the real X factor, isn't he?
Yep.
Corey Jones at right half forward.
Hasn't been in great form, but if he can lift today and get the Kangaroos over the line and then coming into the finals, might give them that something that can take them further than that first week.
Makepeace, 10th possession, not 15 the kick. Grant's seen it now 14 times already, and he delivers to Watt, who marks at 55, but he hasn't kicked a goal all year.
You can look, he's looking to pass this one off.
And does. Leading out is Petrie, and he marks.
It's a nice grab by Petrie and a good kick by Shannon Watt. Just a bit of patience shown. And Wayne, all of a sudden, the Blues have stopped applying the pressure.
And they had better get someone on the mark. Brett Thornton hadn't realised that a player has to stand on the mark. Through Petrie. What do we say these days? Petrie.
Yeah, that's right.
Could have just about walked to the top of the square at one point.
His uncle, the famed tough man, Rotten Ronnie Andrews. And Petrie kicking a goal to give the Kangaroos the lead.
And comes straight off the ground.
Well, it's been important in this first part of the second quarter. Big Savaloy is charging back on. Maybe they were a little bit heavy in the first quarter with the three of them, but down on the boundary line, our man with the biro, Swatter.
Yeah, the biro's been put away. It's actually not working, but more importantly, Adam Simpson, good to see him back on the ground. He went down the race at quarter time.
Yep.
He actually had a problem with his right heel or right ankle, and as we've seen over this weekend, they can't put any form of painkilling injection on the ground. Taken into the rooms, he's had that. He's now back on the ground and ready to go.
In the ankle. We saw Mickey McGuan get a shot many years ago. Was it in the quad or was it in the foot? But his whole leg went dead. It was in the quad.
Yeah, they knocked out one of the nerves that was controlling the quad muscle, and he looked like he had a gammy leg there for a while.
Scramble in the middle with Harris shoveling the hand pass out. Houlihan's kick well smothered by Harris. Getting a little desperate, the Kangaroos, heeding the coach's quarter-time words and winning plenty of the ball now.
That's the value of the smother. The ball stays in the area and allows you to turn it over and get it going your way.
Nah, it's going to go to the closest. Nah,
there it is. Here's the smother. Now he's got just as much chance of, putting on the big man bump, which does nothing.
Yep.
But the smother gives you an advantage. There's another bump, ineffective.
And an apology from Farito straight away. T, good spoil. Lappin for Walker. Banging it long, but the Kangaroos have got all the numbers here, and Colbert will mark.
It's not a smart kick by Walker. There's no one to kick it to, but...
Just got to be patient going forward, don't they?
No question about that. The Kangaroos are getting numbers back. All of a sudden, it's not that man-on-man footy that we had at the start. They're allowing the Kangaroo players to play loose, and this is what happens.
First quarter, Carlton played the way Carlton wanted to play. Now the Kangaroos are playing their style.
Stevens going long. Rocket trying to take another one-handed mark against the Roos. Not this time, but Thompson is there in support. Gee, that's a good tackle from Davies, isn't it? A little man against a colossus there, and he hung on and won a free kick. Wrapped him up well. And the Blues have cleared to midfield. Koutafidis for Morrell, for Scotland. Now they're a chance. Lappin can run onto it. Will he give it to Cooter? He does. Cooter lines it up for another one and misses.
Then on the boundary, Swatter, we've got Jared Waite sitting on the pine. Also the big man French.
Yeah, look, I think that Barnaby's probably a well-deserved rest, and Jared Wade is probably just having much the same. There doesn't seem to be anything untoward. Neither of the players received a telephone message from the coach upstairs.
Waite just 2 touches in the first quarter.
Oh, terrific kick in. Makepeace to Colbert, and he can go. A little bit unconvincing with the bounce. Delivers inside 50 for Harding, and that's a beauty. What wonderful transfer from the kick in to potentially a shot at goal.
Thanks, mate. Clear out, guys. Thanks.
Lee Harding.
Troy Makepeace, as you said, Clinton, it was a beautiful kick. The Kangaroos huddle at centre-half forward. They both broke. It was a 2-on-1 situation.
Oh, there, mate.
And, yeah, Carlton are going to have to send a couple of outriders on the outside of that particular huddle. And as they come out, at least make it a 2-on-2 rather than a 1-on-2, which is far too easy.
17 goals, 15 this year. Lee Harding, it's his 15th game coming into this year. Described as a make-or-break year. Kick holds up. Will Carlton concede a behind? They can't. Lappin is tied up. We'll get a bounce with Chris Camerlins.
Be a real loss to the Blues if they don't re-sign Matthew Lappin. He's a tremendous clubman and an outstanding player.
Oh, now that's interesting because it was his second tap, wasn't it? He had his first tap, and then his second tap he knocked it out, and that was deemed to be the hit out. And if you hit it out of bounds from the throw-in on the full, it's deliberate.
He may have been a little confused there, the umpire.
So Shannon Grant, and if anyone can kick creative goals, it is this man. Not this time.
Lance Whitnell, being such a thinker of the game, would have picked up very quickly that he'd actually had the first tap, as you can see there.
So the first one is technically the hit out?
Well, you would say so, wouldn't you? The second one, realising, OK, I can put this out of bounds.
The second one was just deliberate.
May have outsmarted himself.
I think the umpire got it right, whichever interpretation.
Yeah, it is deliberate. Derek Humphrey-Smith. When Tuesday nights on White Line Fever, I'm sure we'll have a look at that. Boundary throw-in, Kangaroos leading by a goal near the midway point of quarter number 2. Kangaroos over the last 10 years have won 11 of 15 against Carlton. Of course, back then he was in the other coach's box. Nearly out of bounds again on the fall from the hit out.
It was a very different situation, Scott.
I love the byplay. You've got to love these mics on the umps, don't you?
Yeah, I'm watching in here, okay?
Just got to keep them on when they board planes and all that sort of stuff.
Pick up the whispers.
Watching there as well.
There's a free kick.
Carlton's kick advantage.
And advantage is played, and here they go. Stevens waxes with Davies. Now Camperella.
He's got nowhere to go. He's going to have to come back inboard, surely.
Short to Wiggins.
No, he found a player. Well done to Wiggins for putting the opportunity forward.
He's going long. Fisher! Paid the mark.
Let him up, steady up. He brought it down to the ground, it's a mark. He did.
Martin Ellis is convinced. The Kangaroo players not so. And I'm getting precious little from my experts here.
He's look, he's been great this year. To come back from knee surgery, his year has been very, very good. Fisher.
Yep.
He's come in.
What about the marks?
It's probably a bit iffy. I'm not talking about the mark, just about Brad having a very good comeback from knee surgery.
And he ties the scores. All level at the Telstra Dome. Feel free to weigh in at any point, Jared, on your view.
As far as the marks and out of bounds are concerned, why don't we give the umpires a break?
Yeah.
They're doing a terrific job.
Yeah, so you've bagged them for 21 weeks. Now you're ready to give them a break. Well, I think that was probably a little bit lucky for the Blues, but it's the rub of the green. You get on with the business. I like the way Wiggins presented, though. He was going running nowhere, Camperella. If somebody hadn't have got him out of jail, he was in trouble. And that was a line ball one for sure.
The end result is the goal will stand for Fisher.
I guess if you said, did he control it, the answer would be no.
Back in the centre, DeLuca winning it down. Harris for Simpson for Wells. Now Brown will be able to give it to Harris on the wing.
Hold it there, hold. Let's go. Play on, play on.
Umpire impatient with Harris and his procrastination.
Did a good job, though. Just because the umpire yells out play on doesn't mean you have to run. You only have to run when somebody pressures you.
Play on.
Short, wide ball from Callum Urch. Finds Simpson.
It's almost a throwback to the first 8 weeks of the year. This style of football.
I was going to say the same thing, Jared. You got in just before me, but
Unable to mark was Harding. Davies, was he pushed in the back by Urch? No, play on the call. Whitnall hurried a handball away. Wills lurking. Piccioni now under pressure. Stabs it wide for Grant. On the boundary line, Petrie points at the goals. Shannon says, I'll give it a go then, Drew. But he misses.
without a doubt, you just get the feeling that the Kangaroos have, well, they've definitely picked it up a gear, but the flood is in vogue again.
It's right in vogue. Now let's have a look at Ryan Houlihan. It was a half attempt at smother there, and then it was a bit of a half attempt at the chase, and that's why Ryan Houlihan is always in and out of the side.
Has been in the VFL the last 3 weeks. Houlihan back in for this final game as Ferrito smashes it to the boundary line.
There's only one bloke going to get Ryan Houlihan from where he is as a footballer to the next level, and that's him.
Spot on.
Just arms up, guys. With your arms free. Well done.
DeLuca for Stevens. Koutafidis, high, dangerous kick. Lands well. Wiggins met by Archer. Simpson wrapped up by Makepeace. Ball held in, going nowhere. The finals equation for the Kangaroos, if they win today, if Geelong win against Richmond, and if Melbourne win, the Kangaroos to host Port Adelaide next Saturday at the MCG or the Telstra Dome. If Essendon beat Melbourne and Geelong and the Kangaroos win, the Kangaroos to play the Bulldogs next Saturday. So that is Their likely scenario, a Melbourne-based game either way, as Harris will take the free here.
Daniel Harris. Here, mate. Yep. Thanks.
Harris to make peace.
There, Andrew.
Now, good lead, albeit out very wide from Harvey.
Stay there. Play on. You've gone round.
Now he's dangerous here. Walker's got to be careful. Walker's got to be careful. Harvey chips it forward. Jones coming out. Couldn't hang on. Harvey follows it up. Great individual effort. Just can't be finished with a goal.
Boy, I think a few of the Carlton supporters were wondering how far Brent Harvey could run then. He ran from the boundary line basically to the 50-metre arc, which was a little more than the 15 required.
But don't bash umpires.
I was talking about the Carlton supporters were worried, not me.
Davey's to Lappin.
They've worked it out well here, the Blues.
And now they've got a chance. DeLuca slips away from Petrie. They've got the entry inside 50, but the Kangaroo defenders are in front. Here's Fisher now, trapped in on the boundary line. And the impossible angle is just that.
It's been a good story for the Kangaroos. Daniel Pratt started his career there, got drafted to the Kangaroos, then got put off their list, ended up at the Brisbane Lions, played a few games for the Brisbane Lions, couldn't quite crack it in what was one of the best sides of all time, so pretty difficult, but he's come back into this side and done a good job.
Whitnall touched on the line. Archer getting back there.
His father, Graham Pratt, one of the toughest country footballers on the Mornington Peninsula for many years. Magnificent left foot. Had a great footy run, a good coach as well.
Makepeace now as the Roos huddle up and split, and working really hard is Harvey to get into space, but after everyone split, Wells just loitered around in the huddle, and by the time they split there was no huddle, just Wells there on his lonesome, and he receives. His target is Ferrito. A couple of awkward bounces. Ferrito gets it back from Jones, deftly knocks it on for Rawlings. Again they go inside 50 following a kick in. Thompson tight on the boundary line, and it's over for a throw-in.
Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let him go, Brett. Let him go. Thanks, mate.
Just wondering where the pressure from the Blues has gone. The run from the Kangaroos has been evident, and that's what has got them back into the game, but I'm not sure why the Kangaroos have, why the Blues have allowed the Kangaroos to get the run.
Rawlings for Petrie. Very tight angle. Kick coming back with the breeze. Carlton helps it through for a behind.
Well, what's happened, Jared, is you heard Dennis Pagan say before the game that what the Kangaroos do is they lay off their opponents, and that gives them those free plays off half-back, also through the midfield. So if the Carlton players aren't disciplined enough to continue to play that one-on-one footy, it's exactly what they'll do. It creates that run.
Is it an issue, though, that the Blues are just not, from a physical perspective, not just put out the run? Let's keep this going.
Simpson keeps it low inside the 50. Good trap by Pratt. Fisher wore him well, though. Now support Simpson to Houlihan. Fisher kept on running. Good stuff. This to put Carlton in front. No.
In saying that, though, what Carlton have done is they're blocking this game up. Though the Kangaroos have got a lot more run, they look dangerous. Yeah. Carlton are able to get their numbers behind the ball. They're clogging the forward line up. Just become a very scrappy game, and if it continues like this, it won't be one for the highlight reel, but it'll be tight all day.
Now they're going to go inside 50 again from the kick in. Archer, Petrie, runs to 55, long to the square. Rocker is there. Oh, McGrath. Good pack mark. And releases to the back pocket for Camporelli. Now Nick Stevens, and the Blues have flooded the City side of the ground with Davies to Carazzo. And he's trying to spot Morrell there, and it was a tight angle.
Well, isn't it the way Petrie on this side of the ground runs down, basically uncontested, takes a mark. Corey McGrath takes a mark in the goal square. It comes out the other side. Carlton plays uncontested possession, so
bit of circle work.
It is.
Petrie winning it down. Scotland running onto it. Koutafidis for Houlihan.
No, that's okay.
and got it to Fisher now.
Got some options in the middle.
He centres it for French, and it's over his head. Can you believe that? French doubles back, but the Kangaroos have got numbers. And a golden chance. Looks like it's gone bigging for the Blues. It has.
They're working harder now, the Kangaroos, so they've turned it right around in the work rate.
Urch to Hale. Good mark.
It's a beautiful mark.
Harvey now going to Thompson. Moving the ball well there, the Kangaroos.
Well, it broke down up forward, but I thought the kick was the right option. It was just the execution was only out by a centimetre or two. But he's given them something up there. Fisher hasn't quite got on the scoreboard yet, but he's certainly won the ball well.
Thompson looking to become the game's first multiple goal kicker. He'll be the Kangaroos' leader this year in that category, despite a kick like that, which lands with Thornton. Now he's banged it away, hoping for the boundary line, and will get it.
Good job. Good kick out.
If you're Andrew Johns, you'd be happy with that.
Oh, ecstatic. Paid $500,000 a year for that.
4 minutes from half-time. Kangaroos by a point. Would not want to take a 3-game losing streak into the finals and a sudden death match in Melbourne next week. 2 defeaties for Carazzo. Tied up by Ferrito. Piccioni, good vision and executed well. Harding plays on, danger. Jones, oh, he wants to open it up on the left. He does now, and he misses.
You have to wonder why players, when they mark the ball within 30 metres, Lee Harding, why they don't go back and have a shot in that instance.
Did you see Barry Hall yesterday? He did the same thing. He gave away a Coleman medal. He's too unselfish.
I think he's worried about another medal that he'd like to win, and it isn't the Coleman. Simpson
the kick in. Nail the pressure. French is tied up. We'll get a bounce. 21-degree afternoon on this Sunday in Melbourne. Just perfect finals type weather. And not a bad crowd turning out for 5th versus 16th. Enjoying it. It'll be a little bit breezy in the stands at some parts. Harris on for Harvey there. The change as the ball's over for another boundary throw-in.
There's no question this time of year has a different smell about it. You get up this morning, it's like everyone in the street has mowed their lawns at the same time.
Kangaroos have got an extra in their forward line. Given that you live in a high-rise apartment building, Wayne, that's extraordinary.
I was going to say on the streets that he lived, the people have called the gardeners in. Houlihan.
Here he is again.
Fisher. Watt doubles back. Now Colbert about to be under some pressure here.
Pressure, right?
He wins a free kick. Advantage is paid. No, to come back now.
Just looking a little bit one-dimensional. Brad Fisher has won the footy, and there's the sling. But they need a plan B up there, the Blues. Jared Waite's the plan B, but he can't get near the footy.
Has had a quiet day in his 50th game. Just 2 possessions as Harris finding a bit of the footy. Kicks up to half-forward over the head of Hale. Whitnell's back there. Thumps it to midfield. Pressures on Teague here. 2 closing fast. Jones the spoil. Does well. Makepeace now. Legs to go short. And was it 15? No, and I reckon that's a pretty good decision from the umpire. Play on is the call. Ferrito is caught. Intensity rising. Time on second term. Grant has done it.
No chance. No chance. For me, it doesn't look like it bounced, okay?
Well, there you go. The call was it bounced. I didn't think it was 15. But he was right on the spot, the umpire. We'll get back to it. Bounce. Carlton knock it down. Teague, Whitnell. Off balance was Scotland. Jones goes to ground. Clever there, Stevens. Gains 20 metres. Archer heads for the line. Houlihan keeps it in. Takes off. Minute 20 from half-time. Can the Blues snatch the lead back? Scotland going long. Waite in a wrestle with Watt. And it's a boundary throw-in.
Well, maybe it's not fair to blame Heath Scotland because he couldn't kick it that far.
No, that's right. You had Brad Fisher calling it long, which was the right option because Brown was standing 20 metres in front, but he just couldn't kick it that far.
So he had to work that out,
Exactly
Fisher,
right.
and push up and give an option.
Come and meet the ball.
Carlton in attack. Just the one goal for the Blues in this second quarter. Crowded forward pocket. Third man up, Davies goes without it.
Killed him at the stoppages this quarter. Kangaroos
might have to concede a behind, and they do.
Really have turned that round. The Blues were dominant in the first quarter. Second quarter, it's been all Kangaroos.
Now they've had 5 kick-ins in this second term, the Kangaroos, and they've done them brilliantly.
Gone to the same side every time.
And it's working. Makepeace to Colbert.
Lee Colbert coming up for his 19th possession in the first half. Playing across half back.
Above his season average already. His season average is 16. Day out for the veteran. Long to the wing. Off hands. Lappin prizes it away. 35 seconds. Carlton free. Advantage play on. Bentic to Camporelli. On the run from 45, and the kick dies.
Yeah, they just haven't played well with this flooded ball, the Blues, this quarter.
Makepeace bangs it to space. Now the Kangaroos will get a couple of seconds here if Rawlings can get it on. He does. Pacini back well for Rawlings, but he was out of bounds.
Jared just looking to bolster the stats prior to half-time.
Siren looming. We'll get time for a throw-in and a kick either way. So if the Roos can get the clearance, it might land up on the 50 and a chance for a shot at goal. They won't, and Carlton will get the final act of the stanza. And it's Scotland with the long kick. Can they get the mark? No. And that is as good as half-time, with the Kangaroos leading by a point.
No, it's been all the Kangaroos this quarter. But in saying that, the Blues are just hanging in there. It's become a real contest. Both sides are getting numbers back. Not the most attractive game of football, Jared, but it's going to be close.
And a late body slam on Simpson from Petrie to finish with.
Yeah, it's hard to work out that half. The Blues just so impressive early, man on man, and then all of a sudden it appeared as if they, through a lack of running, appeared to abandon that style. Not from, I'm sure, coaches' orders. It was just the players were unable to go with the Kangaroos for the entire half. The Kangaroos turned it around, found some space, and just worked their way tactically through the quarter better than their opposition, and finished the half with a lead.
Albeit a narrow one. Kangaroos by a point at halftime. Second half about to get underway. Brown alongside of Fisher. Wayne pointing wildly.
And Jared Waite on a wing on Daniel Wells. So that's the move you're after, Jared.
Yeah, just move him up, get some footy in his hand.
Harris and Stevens. Now Grant, Houlihan, some holding there. And a free kick to Shannon Grant.
More options in the forward line as well. They've got 4 players there and one just leaving in Matt Lappin. He's charging up, chasing Michael Stevens. It's like the Luke is going to play in the goal square.
Grant going wide, too wide for Corey Jones.
And Corey McGrath got the job on Corey Jones. David Teague now playing on Severio Rocker in the forward line. So giving away a fair bit of height, but maybe not as much pace.
Here's Harris. For Simpson, the skipper kicks quickly to Petrie at full stretch. Can't hang on. Jones shovels it out. Harvey is dangerous.
He's the one.
Oh, look at that. Perfect stuff. Hits Brady Rawlings.
Chip over. Nope.
He's going to have a shot at goal, and the Kangaroos can get the ideal start to the second half.
The important part of that play, you saw Brent Harvey running into the goal square to get the chip over the top from Brady Rawlings, then realising, hang on, this is silly.
Yeah.
And he come back towards him and said, no, go back and have a shot. Now, often players, they'll run in there, they'll call for it. Just puts confusion in Brady's mind rather than go back and do exactly what he should do, and that's put it through the big sticks.
And that he should do, but does not.
Or the big one and the little one.
Well, you put a fair bit of pressure on him. You put the classic Moz on him. But Brent Harvey's the one. There's Brendan Favola He's got a finger in plaster, you'd imagine. He had it operated on during the week.
Both hands in plaster or strapping of some kind.
That's going to affect Mad Monday, isn't it? Camporelli short on the kick back into play. Thornton with the mark. So Carlton, a win today. They avoid the wooden spoon. They would finish 14th, but they'd miss the priority picks. That's what they're playing for. Kangaroos looking to avoid taking a 3-match losing streak into an elimination final next week. If they win, they finish the year 13-9, the best under Dean Laidley, and 5th on the ladder. So still a fair bit riding on the next hour of footy as McGrath goes wide for Simpson. Boomer, umpires on good terms using Brent Harvey's nickname.
It's got to be good for the augurs well for the Brownlow.
Simpson up to T.
One of the favourites.
T going long to the hot spot. DeLuca, big fly. Colbert nearly the mark. Carlton might chuck this. Davies running out of room, is bumped in the side. Boundary throw in.
Well, they got it in there quickly, and Teague won out with Shannon Grant. Got it in there extremely quickly, and David Hale couldn't quite put the arms up. Every time I see him go for the ball with the number 31, I think of Corey McKernan. His old number at the Kangaroos, now wearing number 5.
And no chance, never considered, do you think, a farewell game for Corey today?
No, not today. I think that Dean Laidley summed it up. I didn't like the way he summed it up, but he basically said there was no fairy tales in the game of football. I think he could have basically said that, look, we've got finals to worry about. He didn't have to talk about fairy tales, but been a great servant of the Kangaroos, Corey McKernan, no doubt about that.
Talk about fairy tales, that bounce was beautiful.
And DeLuca has taken it away when it was between he and Wells, one-on-one.
Daniel
bounce
Wells,
of the ball.
Daniel Wells was, he was 4 lengths in front, and the mongrel Sharon just did what it has done to us all over the years. Made us look like a fool. Have a look at this. Here's Daniel Harris, slips, and there's the kick. It's always going to be a difficult one to bounce. Oh, yes.
DeLuca's just going to say, my mind, I was reading it well.
Daniel Wells coming from the ground. Swatter, I wouldn't think it's a result of that effort. Let's have a look at this kick first.
Davies to put Carlton in front. He's now the game's leading goal kicker, and the Blues reclaim the lead.
Well, Jared, just to answer that question, there's a telephone message come from the box, and Daniel Wells has got the headset on, so he's no doubt getting some sort of message about that, perhaps effort, trying to trap that unpredictable ball.
Well, we'll have another look at it. You know, I guess when you're a coach and you've got finals around the corner, you see things differently to us, but he looked to me as if he was making good position for it, but the ball just shimmied when it should have ducked, to use your... What is a shimmy, Clinton? But a lot of people ask me this week.
A lot of shimmy when you're really running fast, and then a little dodge and a weave.
Okay.
A little sidestep. Blink and you're missing. French, the little handball for White. Had it knocked away. Koutafidis. Ran into Ferrito. Here's Harvey. Away and could go the distance. Elects to pass it off. Fantastic. And gets Sav Rocker involved.
He's had the most impact on this game as an individual, I would have thought, Brent Harvey, even though he was off the ground for a fair bit of the first quarter. Daniel Wells back on after receiving a little bit of coaching from the coach.
Have a look here, Kuda probably could have put it on the boot there, decided to take another tackler on and got caught, which allowed Brent Harvey to pass to Sav Rocker, who was by himself because Lance Whitnell was trying to guard a lot of ground in that forward 50, which allowed Sav Rocker a little more space than what he would have otherwise had.
He picked up 16 Brownlow votes 2 years ago, did Harvey. Here's Rocker looking for his first goal of the day, and he sends it through post high.
And that's why he's so dangerous, Sav Rocker, because he's a beautiful kick of the football, and it doesn't matter where he gets it. From 50 to probably 65 metres, Sav Rocker can have a shot and do exactly that.
Well, you saw Jared White just fumbling the footy. Now he's on the boundary and on the telephone again, Swatter.
Yeah, it hasn't been a day to remember, unfortunately, Jared. I watched him come off before half-time, And it's one of those days, body language, you can generally tell by a guy's demeanour whether he's in the game or not. And unfortunately for Jared, he's not having the best of days this afternoon, but there's a fair bit of football left that he maybe can turn it around.
Game number 50 for the 22-year-old. Kangaroos back in front. Rocker has got his first. Stevens delivering wide and at full stretch. A good mark by Wiggins.
Up the middle, French.
Got him.
Brilliant piece of play by Nick Stevens. He gathered and under pressure he executed a pretty tough left foot kick. And then the one back to French was just superb. And that's what Barnaby's got to do, I think, to become a more valued player. He's got to push forward and kick some goals.
And called Barnaby because his dad Hamish wanted to be a little different.
You got it right.
To put Carlton back in front. Oh, perfect kick.
Well done to the big rower. And we looked, when he first burst onto the scene, we looked it up in the Encyclopedia of Australian Football. He's the only Barnaby in there. So he's a unique character. And obviously a great athlete in more ways than one, given that he was a top-class rower and he's built himself into a valued footballer for the Blues.
Fourth in the world in the under-18s in the fours at Norway in the World Championships of '93.
Never got into the rowing, although they didn't have it at Wagga Wagga High.
Missed out.
So the lead changes again.
Could have done it up the Murrumbidgee against the current.
French and Petrie contest an awkward bounce. Carlton a chance to run onto it. Koutafiti's met solidly by Simpson. Harris gives it to Wells. Coach's words ringing in his ears. He takes off and he hits Rawlings. And the Roos respond. Rawlings keeps it low and hanging on is Shannon Grant.
Well, when they run forward brilliantly, the Kangaroos.
Line, mate.
Daniel Wells was involved at the back, set it up, and away they went. Buddy Rawlings has done a good job as a forward, just pushing wide.
And now Shannon Grant, the man who was swapped for Wayne Schwartz. Lining up for his first goal today. A former Swan. Putting the Kangaroos back on top.
And all of a sudden a game that was closed down, a lot of flooding.
Yep.
We've had a goal feast in the first part of this third quarter.
And you were asked to nominate your All-Australian side on 3AW on Thursday, Wayne, and you found a spot for Shannon Grant on the half-forward flank.
I did. I just think that he's played predominantly on the half-forward flank. He's pushed up through the midfield, but he starts in that position. And just the fact that he's won so many games off his own boot for the Kangaroos, I think that'd be a great position for him in that All-Australian side.
Was he the only Kangaroo in your All-Aus 22?
He was the only one to make it.
It was 24th, but he reneged on the bench.
Getting soft. Simpson towards half-forward. Thompson shovels it out. Pressures on the Blues defence here. Kangaroos lifting. Harvey. Well done by Houlihan. Now Stevens giving it to French. To Camporelli. Quick hands in heavy traffic to Whitnell. To Thornton. Oh, and that's a free.
It's 50.
Hang on.
Anthony. That's not 50. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Corey Jones, the man saying it's not 50. Craig Henry says it is.
And this is where, as a Carlton player, you can fly the flag and let as many go as you can, Jared.
Yeah.
Because you know you haven't got finals the week after. But Kangaroo boys will want to be a little careful.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid effort by Ferrito after Koutafiti's had grabbed the ball. And Thornton not all that pleased. Probably better off going into those things with your fist closed if you're, sorry, you're open if you're Camporelli. Otherwise, you end up missing the first part of the year.
Yeah. Well, the Kangaroos have got to be careful. As we mentioned earlier, finals next week. Oh, over the top to Luca. Nilly Specky, Eddie Betts against 4 Kangaroos. He did well to affect the baller. Some excitement here midway in the third term on the final Sunday of the home and away season. Behind the play, push and shove continues with Koutafidis and Stevens, and they're getting into Ferrito. We'll have a bounce top of the square as DeLuca nearly took a beauty. Wiggins, now Wells. To Brown.
Look at Wells, he's just pushed up the middle. He's got no player on him. He'll take this the whole way.
Harvey. Towards half forward, becomes a foot race. Teague. Jones. A bounce.
Andrew Walker, I think, has to tighten up a little bit on Daniel Wells. He's the one that Jared Waite went off the ground. Walker come on and went straight to Wells, and he's just giving him far too much latitude.
Brett Harvey's the one, though. He's had 20 possessions. He's absolutely dominated.
Wells omnipresent right now. Here he is again.
This is what you expect out of Daniel Wells, and as he develops into a player,
how about that kick?
You're going to see more and more.
Into the breadbasket of Rawlings, who delivers it wide, and Rocker can carry the journey from here. That kick from Wells, hemmed in on the boundary line about 45 metres away, and just weighted it beautifully. And Rawlings set up Rocker.
And Brady Rawlings, knowing if it was any other player leading out there, Brady Rawlings probably ignores him.
Yeah. But
the fact that it's Sav Rocker, and he knows that he can kick the ball such a long way, they just give it to him.
722 goals in his AFL career.
No closer there, Lance.
Adding another one.
Jeez, that's a good kick.
After a quiet 6 quarters, he needed a big second half here just to ensure that he'll be playing next week, and Rocker is delivering after Wells was the spark.
No doubt about that. Daniel Wells has been the spark off the wing. We've mentioned Brent Harvey, Jared, but this man, and you saw there, Andrew Walker just putting the hands up, giving him far too much latitude. Has to really tighten up. In actual fact, I think the move may have been made. I think it's Davies that have now got on to Daniel Wells.
Jared Waite's come back onto the ground as well.
8-8 play, 7-6. And the Blues to get the clearance with Cooter in customary hose. Stevens. Crowd wanted a free, not there. Archer gives it up though. Davies kick smothered by Archer. Wonderful trap by Simpson. Recovers his errant handball. Now Harvey. Archer. Perfect to Wells. Kangaroos getting in sync. Wells wide. Brown having to wait. Fisher closing. Brown big turning circle, does well. Long ball inside the 50. McGrath the spoil on Grant, but Makepeace there looming. Now Harding. Makepeace keeps it in, centres it for Jones. Teague affects the spoil. Carazzo takes it. And a good option. Stevens in the middle. Is he off? No. Yes, he is off. Oh, boy. That was tight there. Didn't see the Kangaroo in the way.
Holding the man.
Now it's a Carlton free against Wells.
And really, he has not even taken a step there, Nick Stevens. And he's been pinged for playing on. But free kick behind the play.
Wait to take it.
Bring forward, Nick.
And we'll go long. Can they get a packed mark this time? They've got the numbers, Carlton, and they've got the footy through Fisher. Had to be a mark. It was paid. It's coming back.
Nick Stevens still arguing the point. The umpire's right. He went forward. It was a 15th, but he certainly went forward. Whether or not the umpire just says, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because it was pretty harsh, is one for his interpretation.
And that's another good mark by Fisher.
Yep.
has long arms, got a similar build to that of James Hurt. You know, he's that 6'1", 6'2" height, but if you put his arms straight up in the air, he's more like a 6'3", 6'4" type player because unusually long arms for a player of his height.
The 72nd pick in the 2002 draft out of the Eastern Rangers via East Burwood. Trying to get Carlton back within a kick, but he's hooking it for a behind. 1 goal, 2 and 1 out of bounds his return today.
And Nick Stevens off the ground, Bentic on.
Wells elects to chip to himself. They flood the broadcast side on the wing, the Kangaroos, and have a look at that.
Got to do better than that, the Blues. I mean, that was there for the whole world to see.
Harris towards Harding. Houlihan knocked it away, recovers, chips to half forward. Walker is paid. Great lunge. Bentic. Oh, that was creative. Are they going to get away with it? Maybe. Camparelli. Houlihan. The seas open up for him. So he goes to the goal square. DeLuca this time. No, Colbert concedes.
You can just see there, he's got some talent, DeLuca, but he's just got to learn how to use his body more, and he should have taken that one. Have a look at this one from
Andrew Walker.
Andrew Walker.
Yep.
That was a grab.
Yep.
What DeLuca's done, though, is he's taken Colbert deep into the forward line. He's taken him away from that half-back line. So trying to get Colbert out of the play. He had so much of it in that he had 19 in the first half, and he still got 19.
And Glenn Archer does not know the rules or forget them. We saw this yesterday.
Luke Hodge.
Well, Hodge in the end got the ball to boot.
It was terrific.
And it was play on, but it was Scott here last night for Brisbane who did exactly what Archer did. Even though the umpires called play on, you've still got to chip it to himself when you're kicking it in.
Well, you don't see Glenn Archer kick in a lot, so...
Don't think we'll see much more.
No.
Now, will they concede another behind the Kangaroos? They try. Carlton aware about that, though.
No chance.
A bounce.
Yeah, no, the one with Luke Hodge yesterday was a terrific one because the umpire said play on. He was right on the line. He was able to tap it to his foot very quickly and then still kick it. It was terrific play by Luke.
He remembered at the last second what the rule was. Right. Now, Kuda lurking on the 50. Loose man is on. McGrath kicks wide of him. Archer closing. Bentic's over the top. McGrath's going to bang it long. Can they get a mark this time? Walker had his name all over it, and he should level the scores.
Well, it's a good piece of play there, though, the Blues. They got it into their forward line, then they just pressed. They just got the forward float on at the moment, and the Kangaroos unable to get it out. They just kept putting it in and putting it in. Good little block there by Matthew Lappin, and Walker smart enough to come through.
Well, he probably owes them this because Daniel Wells has set up a lot of play in the first part of this third quarter.
Scores level. This Carlton team giving every indication they don't want to go down as the second wooden spoon team in Carlton's famed history.
And once again, another example of these priority picks not coming into players' estimations. They go out there, they play football week in, week out. Won't ever tell me, Jared, that players go out there and worry about losing a game.
No, players never do. Probably question the number of sides that are picked occasionally, but players, once they're on the ground, they want to win.
8-8 apiece. Davies.
Oh, set up the man.
Here he goes. And that kick a poor one is Teague in front of Jones. Oh, crouched into edge. And just bounces back up. It was great stuff. Camparelli kicks hurriedly to the wing. It'll stay in play for Ferrito.
Well done.
Koutafidis. Simpson wrapped up Stevens with the wonderful tackle. Gee, some heat on this game.
Oh, you just saw the advantage and how good Koutafidis is when it's body on body. Just had the strength We'll have another look at the bump there. Oh. And that's tough stuff. But Kudafiti's just having the strength to push Ferrito off the ball.
Yeah. Well, he's taken the front position as David Teague, and when it's one-on-one, that's a good place to start, particularly if the ball coming in is under pressure.
Well, you can point out David Teague's weaknesses all day long. That is one of his strengths. He keeps his eye on the ball. He goes back with the flight time and time again. Geez, that was a terrific bump. Now, tell me, what was the difference between that bump and Byron Pickett's?
Well, one didn't hit the head.
No, Byron's didn't hit the head either. No.
That's the dance going on in Carlton's goal square. French and Colbert getting acquainted.
Would have been disappointed if he didn't bring it up in round 20. Yeah, he's been with us every other round.
I've just marked it down as the 103rd time it's been raised this year on Fox Footy Sunday. Camperelli tackle. Wells takes it. Kicks to half forward. Harvey's lurking at the back, but Whitnell's going to get there first. And gets the handball away to DeLuca. And McGrath. Lappin, you've got to get it on quickly. Oh, great poise. Davies, it's a good build-up. They've got numbers. Davies running. 65, 60, 55. Kick, touched off the boot. Brown aware of that. Gives it to Makepeace. Kangaroos can rebound. It's McGrath and Grant on the outer wing. And support for Harvey. Grant now. 5 minutes to go, third quarter. Scores level.
Sav's dangerous.
Petrie free.
Grant's kick dies on the entry inside 50, and Whitnell, as though it was intended for him, takes the mark and goes to DeLuca.
He's good at that, Lance Whitnell.
Wells at the right place, knowing there was going to be a spoil. He'll bang it inside 50 again, and he'll give it to Lance. Well, they try to say, come to Arden Street next year and you'll get delivery like this.
He's one of the best in the competition at reading the play. Reading the player with the ball and exactly what he's going to do with it.
Houlihan to Scotland, about to be mown down. Questionable option. Wait for Simpson.
He'll kick a goal. He's a great kick, this bloke. Just a lot of inexperienced players not assessing the options correctly. They got another chance over the Blues.
He wastes no time. Kick is touched off the boot. Top of the square, Pratt, Brown, Stevens under pressure. Good kick. Throw it in.
A couple of their younger guns, Blues, have struggled today. Kate Simpson hasn't had his best day. He's only had just 10 possessions. And Adam Bentic, who's had 20 possessions in the last 5 or 6 matches, including, I think, about 35 possession game a couple of weeks ago. He's just had 5 possessions.
And Lee Colbert, who had 19 at the half, without a touch in this third quarter.
This bloke's got his own footy.
Wells to Stevens to Urch.
He's about to now.
Here he is. He's dragged DeLuca down there with him. And he's kicking perfectly. Now, Rawlings took the mark, whereas you would have preferred Thompson. Oh, he's nearly off. The umpire wasn't watching. He was setting the mark.
Well, he went forward, but the difference there was he didn't go forward across the mark. Nick Stevens took the ball and just nudged himself forward.
Now, it's been one of the very big moves in this third quarter, taking Colbert to full back. Hasn't been able to get into the play like he was in the first half and only had the one in the second half.
Roos in front by a goal.
Well, it's a good game, and you mentioned before, Jared, that Brady Rawlings, he looks at home when he goes forward. We know he's got a reputation of being able to play on players through the midfield and cut them out, but he's going forward and causing a few troubles up there.
Yes, he loves his game of chess, and he's playing a good tactical game at the moment. He tells me he's the #1 chess player at Arden Street. But he's also a pretty good shot at goal. And if you just compare where this game is at the moment, Kate Simpson misses a shot he should have kicked at one end, and Brady Rawlings kicks one at the other for a 2-goal swing.
Hale, here's Bentic. Somehow got it to his boot. That was creative. Wiggins targets Davies. French just paddles it to Davies, goes without it. Colbert. Pratt. Will he have to concede? He does.
Do you think we'll ever see the rule, as in the Wizard Cup, where that will be 3 points? Do you think that'll ever come in?
Yeah, there's a chance, but I think anything that changes the way that the scoreboard looks is going to struggle. And when you've got 3 points, I'm not sure how you do it unless you just add it on.
Yeah, just make it 8 goals, 11 now, instead of 8-9. Are you in favour?
I think it stops that. Definitely adds excitement. On that occasion, you've got Pratt running across the face. He has to make sure that he keeps it in, or he gives away 3 points.
Certainly works in the NAB pre-season competition.
Colbert to half forward, Thompson and Rocker.
The newly NAB pre-season competition. Last year it was the Wizard Cup.
Oh, right.
Rocker, wonderful pass, and Paccioni marks 30 metres from goal to try and extend the Kangaroos' lead to a game-high 11 points.
Let's hope that the new NAB trophy is a bit better than the Wizard.
The Wizard walk?
That was a terrible trophy, the Wizard.
One of the more stranger trophies we've seen in world sport. Here's Paccioni then. Hasn't kicked a goal this year. His 14th senior game. And rectifying that imbalance. So the Kangaroos with 5 goals to 3 in the third quarter, and they've opened up a handy 11-point lead a minute from three-quarter time.
Just taking opportunities, Wayne. Kangaroos have gone forward twice. They've taken theirs. The Blues have gone forward twice in the last 5 minutes and fluffed both.
No question about that. They definitely used they made more of their opportunities in this quarter than what the Blues have. In saying that, they're still in this game. Still up for grabs.
And Savrock are very unselfish, despite already kicking 2 50-metre-plus goals in the third quarter. Laying that one off. Wiggins at the bottom of screen, or just disappearing, putting a body on Wells now to try and shut out his influence. Harvey, final minute of the quarter. Rocker. Whitnell waited back there, not anticipating the short wide ball. Spearing ball from Rocker, and filling in the danger zone was Scotland to knock it away. Has to head for the boundary line. That's as deliberate as you'll find. But the umpire...
They're looking at each other.
Calls it.
They got it.
And I'm not against that, because that's as deliberate as anything.
Spot on. It's a good decision.
Play on, you're in, Rosie. Play on, play on, play on.
Wells goes backwards.
Oh, that was cool.
There.
Cool and calculated.
What?
Daniel Wells.
Oh, the big climb from Drew Petrie. An impressive leap in the closing seconds of the third quarter. And now a shot at goal after the siren from beyond 50 to try and make it a 6-goal quarter for the Kangaroos and to open up a handy 17-point break.
And there's the deliberate out of bounds by Heath Scotland.
And there's the leap from Petrie. For his second, the mark rewarded with a great goal. Plenty of spirit there now for the boys from Arden Street. 3 late goals in time on gives them a 17-point advantage.
Yeah, that's a big advantage coming into this last quarter, and you only have to look at the two sides. The Kangaroos finish on a high. Great mark, great goal by Petrie. But you just look at the Blues. You saw their captain Kuda walking to the three-quarter time huddle. They just seem a little despondent, realising their season may be over, whereas the Kangaroos, they all run to the huddle and they feel excited about this last quarter coming up.
Well, the Blues have got to do some changes if they're going to win this match. They've still got some chance, despite the fact that the Kangaroos dominated. Kutafiti's got to go to the forward line for mine. They need someone who can kick 3 or 4 goals in a quarter, and he's the only one I can see there.
Here at the Dome, it's the Kangaroos by 17 points, 11-8 to 8 goals 9.
Scott Camporeale starting on the bench for the Blues. Not sure whether the body's quite right. And Glenn Archer, one of the senior players for the Kangaroos, starting on the bench.
So the Roos trying to make it a 13-win season under Dean Laidley for the first time and finish the year in 5th place, defending a 17-point lead against a Carlton team trying to get off the bottom. Koutafidis to Nick Stevens. They start well, and it's Davies who marks. He's told to play on here. Gee, that's a little bit unlucky, and he's pinged.
You went sideways.
And he disagrees. Brown going wide. Harris. And in space, Shannon Grant. Delivering for Thompson. And what a big call that was. Instead of Carlton having a set shot at goal, perhaps it's Thompson at the other end.
He had it all the way to the ground. He had it all the way.
Kicked just the 1 goal today, Nathan Thompson.
Yeah, hasn't had the space that he's normally afforded in that forward line because Carlton getting numbers behind the ball. But he'll be happy if he can finish with a couple in this last quarter leading into next week. Not a good finish.
And then again, his confidence might be shattered. Although we should say that there is a breeze out there with the roof open.
I don't think that had anything to do with the breeze. It was more the drop of the ball.
French towards the wing. Makepeace for Wells.
This is a bloke that's got a lift if the Blues are going to have any chance, and that probably reflects his day at the moment. Just going back to that Justin Davies one, he took the mark. It was a questionable decision. He did come slightly off the line, but the umpire was pretty clear in his instruction. His problem was he just didn't adhere or didn't react. He tried to beat the man on the mark instead of kicking.
Kangaroos win the clearance here. Bounce an awkward one for Brown. Wiggins. Davies about to be mown down by Ferrito. And pinged.
So Teague having an effect. He's playing up in the forward line. Tagging roll on Brown.
Koutafidis.
Oh, hands.
Eventually. Now French. A goal. Carlton start well.
That's the exact start they wanted. Wasn't a great kick by Teague coming into the forward line.
Well, he was lucky there again, Justin Davies. There was a second option. I'm not sure if he fumbled it and couldn't handball it straight off to Jared Waite, but that would have been the option. Bit of a mongrel there from Teague. Have a look at this one. He just ignored him. Maybe he didn't have complete control, but he was fortunate that Big Barnaby was right there beside him.
May have thought that Stevens would have been able to put pressure on that player coming through too, so it might have been that peripheral vision.
So the margin is back to 11 points, and the Blues stay in touch as French palms it down. The bounce favouring Stevens. Sidesteps Wells with aplomb. Goes long, but it's Colbert in front, and is he winning a free? He is. Advantage paid. Petrie.
Just doesn't work for them, that forward line, Carlton. Been close, but Colbert's been too good.
Oh, Harvey kept his feet. Did it well. Goes along. Rock of the target. And the mark.
Just couldn't find him, Big Lance. He was looking for him. He was searching for the body, but Sav stayed away far enough for long enough. Have a look. He just doesn't want to engage, and then he goes.
Always a difficult one when it gets kicked that high and you're caught in front. And Big Sav having the know-how not to go for the high fly like some players would have the know-how just to step around and get front position. And it was all too late because Lance, as you said, fell for the body.
He kicked 49 last year. This for 39 in this campaign, and the kick is true. 3 today. So that rubs out the French goal at the other end, and it's as we were at three-quarter time.
It's interesting to have a look at Lance Whitnell up against Sav Rocker. Carlton, I think, have got to go in search of a big body. Lance Whitnell is just not a big enough body. He's not capable of having that physical impact in the forward line. He's doing a great job as a defender. But Sav and Nathan Thompson, they're monsters.
Yeah. Lance on the last line, I don't think he's suited to full back either. I think he's more across that half back line. He's been able to set the Blues up. At the moment, though, he's sitting at full back.
French and Hale. Hale got first mitt to it. Ferrito caught. Gets boot to ball. Carazzo slaps it the other way, but Hale was there. And now the Roos can run with Urch. Awaiting the crumbs, Harding to Harvey. Loves these. Misses.
You'll look at that and you'll say to himself, why didn't I just kick a drop punt? Went the angle kick. He missed.
3 goals the margin as Stevens stabs at it to Whitnell. Allows it to bounce. Will handball over the top and probably get it back. And give it back. Wiggins needs someone to present. Goes long to a contest. Stevens. And under a fair bit of pressure does well. Wells is running. Simpson back for Wells. One too many perhaps. Stevens down. Bentic. Carazzo. Still Carazzo.
Gee, oh boy, look.
He's in the side.
Was in the side.
In the side.
Let's get the feeling the Kangaroos throwing the ball around a little bit too much, getting a little bit too cute. Preferred option would have been to get it up there to Sav Rocker, 1 out with Lance Whitnell.
12-9 to 9-9. Final quarter of Carlton's, well, fair to say, disappointing season, but they're playing with a bit of spirit late. Houlihan long to the 50. Urch under a mountain of trouble there. Tied up.
Adam Simpson coming from the ground, Swatter.
Yeah, look, Adam Simpson's been on and off the ground most of the afternoon, Jared, and I still think that we must remember he broke a couple of ribs a little while ago and had bruised lungs, supposedly punctured lungs, but also he had a problem with that ankle earlier on in the game. So, look, it might be just a matter of getting him through the game better for the run next week.
Going nowhere in a hurry here. Bentic finally was pushed.
He landed on top of his back, Steve.
So Bentic now too far out to score, but can set something up. What option will he choose? Short to the leading Lappin. Makepeace the spoil. And just gliding in was Wells.
Had to take that one in the hands, Lappin.
Harding. Grant running. And diving. Not marking though. Didn't hang on. Carlton can rebound through Nick Stevens. 25 touches, and that's a beauty for Koutafidis, who marks and gives it back to Stevens. That's blazing away, but it's good. Looked like it was going to be a Kangaroo. DeLuca's got the mark. And the Blues want 50. No way he could have pulled out of it, though, the decree on Lee Brown's actions. You can decide.
Now, you have to wonder. Now, you see that contact. We see time and time again, players not in the direct marking contest. They get paid 50 metres. Why isn't that 50 metres?
I see umpire.
Anyway, they're doing a good job.
DeLuca's got to kick this, and does not. Missed some chances today, the Blues.
Yeah, I think they have. I think their major issue has just been in that forward 50. They've got it in there enough. They just haven't had the talent or the big man strength to be able to take a grab and kick a goal and a counter.
Now, much better zone defence this time, so they squeeze the Kangaroos short and wide. And Harvey goes short to Wells. Carlton still trying to employ the zone just further up the ground now.
Tell you what, with finals just 7 days away, Daniel Wells' form has come at the right time.
Hale. Towards half forward, off hands. Carlton will try and keep it in. Carazzo for Waite. Spears the ball to midfield, although it's eluded Wiggins. Colbert about to be caught. He's gone. Holding the ball should be advantage if Carlton run.
No advantage.
They just took too long to take the advantage.
Yeah, Jared, you said before, Jared Wade has to lift. He's getting a little bit of the ball on centre wing. Might be the time to send Lance Whitnell forward.
Yep. Well, it's been a big ask for Jared Wade. People have got him down as a key forward. I don't think he's ever going to be a key forward. I think he's a midfielder. He's a third tall.
Doing that sort of stuff, a pretty good delivery near the goal square, and that could well have been a mark. That should have been taken, perhaps.
The way the game's played, I mean, he can play as a running centre-half forward, as a running full forward, but he's just never going to have the body to be able to be the target in finals footy, under pressure when you just kick it to the goal square for him to dominate.
And at the other end, the Roos bring it into play quickly, and Grant gives it to Thompson. Just the forward polish is there at one end and is not at the other.
So you talk about a centre-half forward not with Jared Wade's build, then what about a Robert Murphy from the Bulldogs if they play finals footy?
As I said, he could play as a running, running centre-half forward, but Carlton aren't playing that way at the moment.
So is that the one thing that the Bulldogs are missing?
I think they are, and I think you'll see them move heaven and earth to get someone there, or they've got their captain or their ex-captain to do the job.
Thompson goes, he's second. Kangaroos get 2 in a row.
You just get the feeling now that the Kangaroos are home. I honestly believe that Carlton just look like they've had a few opportunities at the start of this last quarter, and I just think the Kangaroos now will settle into this. And saying that, they're bringing Lee Brown off. They've got Adam Simpson off the ground. Glenn Archer's had a good rest from three-quarter time. He's now come back on for another run. So they're rotating that bench. I just get the feeling that that might be enough for the Kangas.
Goal number 49 for the year for Nathan Thompson. So the Blues have now got to make up 4 goals. And time is running out.
Shit.
They might get the clearance here because Carazzo overruns it. McGrath is dumped. Stevens likewise. Jones. Hale, Archer, here they go. Archer to half forward. Whitnell, good spoil on Rocker. Wiggins is pushed in the back.
It's got him in the back, sir. Nah, got him in the back.
At this ground this year, the Kangaroos playing for the 11th time, 6-4 their win-loss record. The Blues have won 2 of 7. McGrath waiting for it, ran into Archer. Not the man for the hour then, if you're a Carlton supporter. Or McGrath in particular. Paccioni the soccer, Carazzo in the way. Good turn. Kicks inside the 50. Oh, DeLuca may have collared his own teammate there. He might have been a chance. Harris is off. And Pratt clearing to the wing. Harvey, can he get it on? Good hands. Watt runs his full measure. Whitnell in front.
Big save.
And fair to say that's a free. Advantage play on Thornton.
Sav was dreaming of a decade ago where the legs used to be able to get him up on top of people like Big Red.
Well, last time they played, he took that beautiful one-hander.
Davies for Stevens. And that's going to skittle the pack and give Walker a chance, although Pratt got there first. Good wrap up by DeLuca. Carlton still going. Need to talk here. Walker elects to kick quickly and wildly. And it lands short of the behind line.
Back here's all, it's okay. Here's the mark.
And Colbert, aware of the rules there, didn't kick a behind on the way in. Brought it back over the behind line. Makepeace to the outer wing. And Urch takes the mark. 5th senior game for Callum Urch. Just his 2nd this year, going to half forward where McGrath with a little bit of a circus trick. And at affects the boundary throwing.
Haven't seen much of Carlton Rd, Jared, but looks like a good mover.
Yes, he's been impressive today. I agree with you, Wayne. I think he'll hold his spot to play finals footy for his 6th game.
All Australian at under 18 level out of Spotswood and the Western under 18 team. 9 minutes to go on Carlton's season. Can they cap it with an improbable come from behind win? Wiggins going to ground. Houlihan wrapped up by Urch. Good tackle. Bentic in a spot of bother. Creativity by Rawlings. Kangaroos working hard here. Grant, though, under some duress. Wade emerges. Still time for the Blues. Stevens, loose man in the middle. They're a big show here. Carazzo. Oh, he elects to go himself. He'd want to kick it. And he does! What a goal! Andrew Carazzo with just the 4th goal of his career as a lunging Colbert couldn't get there. And Justin Davies was watching the ball go for goal from an open location thinking, I hope you kick this.
Let's have a look at Jarrad Waite. It's a pretty good effort here. He ends up actually not getting the footy, but he's just kept going and going and applied the pressure 3 times. He does end up with the footy. Well done to Jarrad Waite. It was a superb effort. And you just get a feeling, Wayne, that the boys up at the Carlton forward line not quite working for each other enough. I know he kicked the goal, but you'd like to see that handball given most times. Drag the player, give it to the certainty rather than the 50-50 from 50.
And Jared, the great part of Jarrad Waite then was the fact that he kept his feet.
Yep.
So the equation is down to 3 goals in 8 minutes, although Paccioni takes it away for the Roos towards Petrie. He's dragged it in. Eventually knocked out well by Harris. Rawlings, high one to the pocket. Near the boundary line.
Throw it all the Blues. Wayne, I reckon the pressure's going to go up about 200%. One more, and they'll start thinking they're a half a sniff here, the Blues.
The margin 16. Scotland on for the final fling as French knocks it down. Hale dragged down fairly by Wiggins. Wells punches the handball out to Rocker. And he kicks a goal. Sav's got 4 in the second half. That's significant, and so's that guy who gave it to him.
Yeah, you talk about footwork before with Jarrad Waite. This is just superb. Daniel Wells, he's been on fire in the second half. Had a great game.
Wells, 27th possession, 14th handball, and it was a beauty.
He was sensational in the second quarter as well. I failed to acknowledge that. One of their best. Admire with him and Brent Harvey as and Colbert as their best 2 or 3 players.
And the confidence this will give Sav going into next week. A date with either, and it's likely, Port Adelaide or the Western Bulldogs. And Bishop of Port with a potential ankle injury as well. Teague, one of their key defenders. Here's Scotland. At centre half back French for Camporelli. Caught high.
Just got to watch those arms, okay? Yeah, it looked like from where I was.
It did look high from here, and from there it also looked high.
Camporelli to Scotland, long inside the 50. DeLuca had it knocked away. Makepeace stumbling, did well. Paccioni hands it to Watt. And now Grant under pressure. Gee, set him up there, boundary throwing. 27,625 watching on. Blues can get it out the back here. Davies to Carazzo. Tried to get it to Camporelli. Harris was in the way. Blues win out by weight of numbers. Now, can they get a forward 50 mark? Fisher off the ground, dribbles it home. They're still alive. Back to 16 points.
Back to 16 points. If they can get the next one very quickly, they may think they've got a chance, but the Kangaroo goal just a couple of minutes ago may have squashed all chances. In saying that, we've seen some great comebacks over the last few weeks. We saw the Bulldogs get overrun by Melbourne. We also see Fremantle.
Yep. And
overrun St Kilda. Hawthorn overrun, Richmond overrun Hawthorn. Been some great comebacks.
Kangaroos, though, will get the clearance. Oh, good hands from Thompson on the kick from Urch. He delivers inside the 50. Oh, at full stretch, no mark. No mark to Hale, he can't believe it.
Now, if that's no mark, he's dived on the ball and he hasn't got it out. If it's no mark, then if you look at this, it is then holding the ball, isn't it?
Good decision from the umpire.
Good decision as far as the mark's concerned. But what about then when he's tackled and it's a ball up?
Let's have another look. Ball goes through, hits the ground a couple of times.
Yep. Good decision.
Good decision.
That's why they always pay leniency there, don't they?
They do. When there's a bit of confusion. Wayne, so harsh on those blokes.
Would you like a line in the rule, but a bit of leniency if he thought he marked it?
Well,
that's how
if he thinks he didn't mark it, then it's holding the ball.
Rawlings.
Put that one down to Derek Humphrey during the week.
I've marked it down.
How's it been going, Derek?
No question about that mark. That is a mark there.
Oh, I think Derek Humphrey will agree with me on that one. Under the letter of the law. And that's what they like to go by, the umpires.
But Jared used that word interpretation, which can just be plucked out.
I just
at
reckon
the
that was a
appropriate
comment.
time.
Everybody says umpires should show some common sense. Well, that was common sense. Okay.
I'm with you, Jared.
I'm getting nothing from the former Kangaroos captain.
It's getting tense here in our last Sunday together for the year. Here's Hale trying to push that margin back out, and he does. Good goal. He's got his first.
David Hale's been a big improver for the Kangaroos this year. He's taken a little while to come on. His body's starting to mature. Not the biggest of bodies, but being able to stand up in that forward line when guys like Drew Petrie, who have spent a little bit more time in the ruck this year because of the fact that he struggled at centre-half forward, has allowed David Hale to go up there and play in a position that he's very used to, because he come to the Kangaroos not as a ruckman, but as a centre-half forward. Queenslander, I think he made the All-Australian side when he played for Queensland in the Under-18 Championship.
And was a top 10 draft pick by the Roos, number 7 4 years ago. So the margin 22 again, and the task just that much more onerous for the Blues as Bentic with the clearance, but Jones is in the way. Now Piccioni. Towards half forward, Lappin in front.
What's your guess, Wayne? Is it Matthew Lappin's last game for the Blues, or do you think he'll stay?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't negotiate his contracts, but I would hope that he stays at Carlton, as I do Scotty Campriale. They've both been great servants of this club. Lance Whitnell in the same boat. You just don't like to see players like that leave their footy clubs. They've given so much.
Rawlings kick, slews off the side of the boot, opens the door for the Blues, but the bounce eluded them again, and Rawlings got it onto Jones. He gets it to Stevens.
Good vision.
Yeah, he saw Rocker and gave it to him. And Sav.
Have a shot, Sav.
Can think about number 5.
It's amazing. He's had an amazing career, Sav. He was, in many minds, finished when he left Collingwood. He's been finished about 2 or 3 times with the Kangaroos, but he just continues to fire, and he's had another terrific year. Albeit with a couple of ups and downs. 7
times Collingwood's leading goal kicker, 3 times the Kangaroos' best in that category. And a 5-goal-and-a-half return's pretty good. Can he finish it? No. Hooks the kick, and the Blues need 4 goals in 3.5 minutes.
Yes, it looks like the Kangaroos are going to finish 5th on the AFL ladder. And unfortunately for the Blues, their second wooden spoon in 3 years.
Whitnell. Silver lining for that, though, will be picks 1, 4 and 22 in the opening couple of rounds of the draft. Harding playing it out with a bear hug on Camporelli. We'll get another bounce. 13 wins for Dean Laidley's men this year, as the Kangaroo fans are keen to show the Blues that, well, they've got some prizes to take home. Urch. I was going to call it utensil, but that was a cardboard one, it appeared, as Rocker thumps it long.
Off one step.
Nearly a throw. Creative handball to Harding, who just misses. 15-11 to 11-11. Here's that handball.
Oh,
well,
yes.
It was a throw. Thornton to half-back. Here's Wiggins. Inside the 50. Scotland removed from the contest as Paccioni, the makepiece for Jones. Long to Harding. On the lead, Thompson. He's kicked 2 today.
As we said before, Nathan Thompson hasn't had as much space as what he normally gets in that forward line because of the fact that Blues getting numbers back.
This for a 50-goal year and a 5-goal lead. Wonderful effort. Three today to Nathan Thompson. Kangaroos with a big 11-goal to 6 second half, and they're eager to tell the Blues fans all about it.
And 50 goals in a year for Nathan Thompson's a pretty good return, because he got off to a slow start at the Kangaroos. And I think, Jared, you and I both said that it mightn't work with Sav Rocker and himself in the same forward line, but they've both made it work, and he's ended up with 50.
Yep, he's been a player that took a big challenge going to another club, and he's made it work.
50 to Thompson, 40 to Rocker, 90 between them.
It's not a bad return.
It's interesting when you compare, though. 50 to Thompson getting a lot of big raps, 49 to Favola, and he's been bagged all year.
White deep to full forward, and a leaping mark, and this time Fisher hangs on.
It's a good point. That's a very good point.
Expectations.
I think it is. I think expectations have so much to do with the way players are perceived. I mean, we know that Brendan's been featured heavily in a lot of programs, including White Line Fever and On the Couch, etc., for body language, but he still has kicked 49 goals. If he has a good year, he's going to kick a ton.
Fisher gets Carlton back to a more deserved 4-goal deficit, and that's his 3rd goal today.
And he'll look forward to a full pre-season without those knee problems. And round 1, Brad Fisher will be ready to go. And he has been one of the real positives for the Carlton Football Club. I know I've said it a couple of times already today, but
Yeah, those long arms. You're right about his arms.
he's very strong above his head, and he's really added another dimension since he's come into this side.
Pretty good agility, given that he's had a recoat. It's a terrific return.
Closing seconds of Carlton's season. Kangaroos getting the takeaway towards half forward. Teague in pursuit. Gets in a grapple with Petrie and gives away a free.
Drew Petrie's kick. Back to him on the floor, thanks.
Daniel Harris just got body slammed in the centre. I reckon if there wasn't finals next week, he may well have let one go.
Savrocker may well have a shot after the siren for his 5th goal today.
Now, you might wonder how Sav got so much room then. Lance Whitner was trying to block the kick down the line, and you saw Petrie feign that way. Allowed Savrocker to go up the middle of the ground.
He's a Monty to kick this, isn't he?
Well, after the siren, no pressure, is a massive kick.
Rocker kicks the Kangaroos into the finals in style. Number 5 in the second half for Sav. They end the 2-game losing run they had on the eve of September, and they will finish 5th at the end of the home and away season. Kangaroos home by 5 goals. And they found themselves in a real struggle for much of the afternoon here. The margin just a point at half-time. Carlton were level time onto the 3rd quarter, but those 3 late goals, time onto the 3rd term, just gave them the buffer. And now the future of some Carlton players will be pondered as Carlton claim just a 2nd wooden spoon in club history.
Yeah, look, I think Carlton will walk away from this year very disappointed. But in saying that, the Kangaroos, they've got all in front of them. They've been able to finish 5th on the ladder, and a lot of people would be surprised from that, other than the players themselves. And that's what this group has. I think more than any other club in the 8, they have real belief within themselves, and they've gone about this year and really set themselves up for a great finals campaign now.
Let's get down to Wayne with one man who's played himself back into form on the eve of the finals, Wayne.
Yes, you know, otherwise dreary game to half-time or a tight game. Daniel Wells, you found yourself into a bit of space in that second half. The guys got a good win, important win. 13 wins for the year, now bound for finals.
Yeah, it was a must-win today, you know, I think put us in 5th position and give us a bit of momentum going into the finals. So, yeah, it was a very, very good win today.
And I guess you've run yourself back into a bit of form. Jared Healy said it was between yourself and Brent Harvey as to the honours of best on ground, but it's important to run yourself into a bit of form with the month of September knocking on the door now.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been getting much of the ball, so today was a real good test for myself to work as hard as I could and get as much as the ball, and work for the team and help out as much as I could. So,
did you expect to get such a fighting effort from Carlton, given the fact that this was their last game and they were on the bottom of the ladder?
Oh, always. They're a proud club, so they didn't want to go down like that. So, yeah, good on them, and I hope the best for them next year.
And good on you, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. His teammates waiting for Daniel Wells, who will get an extra round of applause from this Kangaroo strong crowd. 28 possessions, 11 of them contested ball 1. Harris and Grant both big in that category as well, but just the way he moved in that second half made it look like he's ready for a big September.
Yeah, Mark Williams would have been here looking at that. I think they will play Port Adelaide next year.
We won't give away anything just yet.
We don't know yet.
We won't give away anything just yet, Jared. We'll come back and talk about that after this. 5 goals, Kangaroos winning margin.